This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. Hello, we did chapter 11 and we're group 2. My name is Crystal Espinosa and I did pages 322 through 323. Types of sentences. Sentences are classified in 2 ways. First, they're classified according to their structure or how they are put together. The structure may be simple, compound, complex, or compound complex, according to the number and the type of clauses in the sentence. A clause consists of a subject or a predicate, and there are 2 types of clauses. If the clauses present a complete thought and can stand alone, it's an independent clause. But if the clause isn't a complete thought and can't stand alone as a sentence, it's a dependent clause because it depends on the meaning expressed in the independent clause. A simple sentence contains only one independent clause, and a compound sentence has 2 or more. A complex sentence contains one independent clause and one or more dependent clause. A compound complex sentence has 2 or more independent clauses and one or more dependent clauses. Sentences are also classified according to their purpose or the type of message they contain. Declarative sentences are statements, interrogative sentences ask questions, imperative sentences issue commands, and exclamatory sentences communicate strong emotion or surprise. Capitalization and punctuation. Students learn that capital letters divide sentences and signal important words within sentences. Capital letters also express loudness of speech or intensity of emotion because they stand out visually. Punctuation marks signal grammatic boundaries, and they express meaning. Some punctuation marks indicate a sentence boundary as well. Periods, question marks, and exclamation points mark sentence boundaries. In contrast, commas, semicolons, and colon mark grammatical units within a sentence. Quotation marks and apostrophes express meaning within sentences. Quotation marks are commonly used to indicate talk, but a more sophisticated use to express irony.
My name is Laura Garcia. I did pages 326 to 327. I had teaching the parts of speech where students learn about the parts of speech through reading and writing activities as well as through mini lessons. It contained collecting parts of speech where students work in small groups to identify words representing one of all 8 parts of speech from a book they are reading. Then they have examining mentor texts. Students examine concept books that focus on parts of the speech or other grammar concepts. Teaching students to manipulate sentences. Students experiment with or manipulate sentences when they rearrange words and phrases in a sentence, combining several sentences to make a single or stronger sentence, or write sentences following a particular sentence pattern. Sentence unscrambling. The teacher chooses a sentence from a book students are reading and divide it into phrases. This is a picture I chose showing examples of reading a book list with each part of speech.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Desiree. I did page 328 and 329. So sentence imitating. Students choose a sentence from a book they're reading and then write their own sentence imitating its structure. A class of 6th graders created this imitation. The fox smelled the poultry, and coming closer, he saw 5 juicy chickens scratching in the dirt. 6th graders created this imitation. The message was still stuck in the keyhole. Using a magnifying glass, the little mouse could still read those awful words. Sentence combining. Students combine and rearrange words and sentences to make the sentences longer and more conceptually dense. The goal of sentence combining is for students to experiment with different ways to join the embedded words. Sentence expanding. Teachers choose a rich sentence from a book students are reading and present a abridged version. Then students expand it, taking care that the words and phrases they add blend in with the author style. A 6th grader wrote this expansion. There is no place like home, like his home in the barn, cozy and warm straws to sleep on. The delicious smell of manure in the air. Charlotte's egg sack to guard and his friends, Templeton, the goose, and the sheep nearby. Mini lessons. Teachers teach many lessons on grammar topics, in which they explain grammar concepts, have students make charts, posters, and involve them in examining sentences from books they're reading and in writing their own sentences. Teachers choose topics for grammar mini lessons in two ways. They identify concepts by examining students, writing and noting what types of grammar errors they're making, and they choose topics from state standards for their grade level. Moving on to addressing the standards, the language strand of Common Core state standards addresses grammar and usage. The standards expect students to demonstrate command of standard English, grammar, and usage conventions in talk and writing beginning in kindergarten and continuing through 8th grade. They focus on the essential rules of standard English and expect students to make informed choices among language alternatives for meaning or style. The standards highlight these points. Students identify and understand the purpose of the parts of speech. Students use parts of speech correctly. Students compare and contrast varieties of English in literature. Students expand, combine, and reduce different types of sentences. Students develop and apply capitalization and punctuation rules. The standards emphasize the importance of developing students' knowledge of the conventions of standard English, while also teaching the craft of writing. And here are the 4 types of sentence manipulation: sentence scrambling, sentence imitating, sentence combining, and sentence expanding.
Okay, and then the vocabulary, simple sentence. So these contain only one independent clause containing a subject and a verb. For example, Emily is eating an apple. Complex sentence contains one independent clause and one or more dependent clause. It's basically it's just a simple sentence with a dependent with an added dependent sentence. So for example, running through the park, I saw a dog. And then these are the 8 parts of speech: the noun, pronoun, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. Their definitions, and then these are some examples that you can add when creating your sentence.